Good evening, everybody. Happy Easter. I got a lot of messages there, going through everything, catching up today. I had a beautiful talk with my girls back home. I miss them tremendously. It's I've been away from home lots of times, but always within reason to get home quickly. And I got some work to do out here yet, and I'll be getting back in May, so I'm looking forward to that. I know my girls sure miss me, and it's a good feeling. Family's everything. Easter's all about that. I know how it is for the Catholic faith, and it was interesting that I missed an Easter. I don't think I've missed an Easter in a long time with my girls, so that's a little different, but I don't want to get too away from the post of this video, because this video is very important to everybody. The further I go in Ontario and you see the differences, but then you see a lot of similarities, and then you see great things about Ontarians too as a people in Canada, and it's interesting for me. Obviously, I've never been this far east. I've been through the States in my life, but never went east of Saskatchewan. So it's been a interesting journey, to say the least. A lot of great people. And I know back home people say, how come we can't get rallies that size? Well, everybody back home, we can't get rallies that size because we don't have cities with 6 million population, or surrounding communities in the neighborhood of Red Deer size minimally, right? Minimally. So that's one reason. So even though numbers are great in turnouts, they're not big enough. When you look at it, something like Toronto, you should be having 20, 30,000 people in the streets. Not that I'm putting anything down. I'm just saying that it's tough. It's tough. The government has tremendous controls, and that's where we get into the weaknesses of provinces in this title. And that is a problem of left and right. So we're going to talk about that. Let's talk left and right politics, the absolute insanity of the vote split, and the reoccurring problem for all Canadians, all of you watching now. It's important to share, because we have to iron this out now, and we got to get it out to everybody, that this concept of always having these rallies and people know something's wrong, businesses are upset, livelihoods are wrecked, people don't know what to do or where to turn, and the reason for that is because the politicians in the political system is absolutely broken. It always has been. It's never been any good in Canada. There's times where politicians favor certain regions, they draw monies from the other ones, bleed them right dry. We've watched the absolute destruction of Atlantic provinces. We're watching it out west again, and this cycle that, we'll just wait for markets to change, and when monies and commodities are better, instead of leading a charge as a sovereign nation. Do you know what every political party has in common? None of them want to even explore Canadian sovereignty. One thing I learned here in Ontario, and what I see with a lot of political parties, Canadians will sing the national anthem. They'll sing that, "O Canada, our home and native land." Do you know that the Constitution doesn't even reflect that? Not one of your parties, left or right spectrum, has ever thought that it's an issue, that the legal contract of this country, the Constitution, is absolutely opposite than our national anthem. Has anyone ever looked at that? That in all legal realms of Canada and on the international stage, we are not strong and free. This isn't our home and native land. It's native land, unsettled. It's not even their land. It sits in the hands of the politicians, handed over from the United Kingdom many, many, many decades ago. And it was up to our politicians to settle the claims, settle all of Canada, like our neighbor, the United States, did many, many decades ago. in their time of tremendous civil rights movements, during the time of black civil rights, First Nations, but it was the American Indian civil rights, even into, it was such a revolution, it even got into what is classified as domestic terrorism. And the government of the day, out of the 60s and into those early 70s, absolutely settled it all. America was finally settled, and all of America was made available to the people, both the American Indian and the American people. They have a tremendously better deal than their counterparts, the First Nations. This doesn't alarm Canadians. It doesn't alarm them that we're all broken up pieces along highways and railroad of limited land availability in Canada. We're only actually utilizing 11%. That's all you're allowed to use. Again, let's talk left and right. No party, federally or provincially, in any left or right spectrum, sees this as a problem, that we're an unsettled nation. 2021, and the rest of the world is, but we're not. We are like an Israel-Palestine situation here. Nobody has a problem with that. They say, oh, that's normal. Let's keep borrowing astronomically and keep putting all of the expense on the people so that your standard of living is driven down to a level of Venezuela. That's coming. And it won't matter liberal, conservative, NDP. You can all take the vote splitting off the table. I'm an actual economist for my new Eastern followers. I'm educated. Yes, I'm a tradesman, a welder. A long time ago, I decided to move on from that. I've stayed active in business. I've run several in my lifetime. I've had my ups and I've had my downs. But you know what? And all of that pales in comparison to what your government is doing to all of you. Success is all about how you can take advantage of the guy beside you. A lot of large businesses get away with dumping absolutely all of their shenanigans on all of you, transferring it absolutely to public debt. Those are the bailouts. All parties do it left and right. It doesn't matter. We have an absolute bulging, growing, massive civil society created out of a crap political structure. I know Canadians don't know this. A lot of my followers back west do. But for all my new Eastern followers, here's something you don't know. And we're going to get that out tonight in this video. Every single government you hire sets up a whole bunch of special interests, foundations, civil societies that are absolutely attached to government. You think they're private or whatever, they're not really. I've explored all of this just in the province of Alberta extensively. I actually taught an online class to a group of Albertans on this to teach them all about this. I'm going to have to do one out here. I've posted the Toronto Independence. Nobody seems interested in that. You're going to hear from absolute experts. You're going to meet all of those UN General Assembly globalist states that are absolutely in bed trying to usurp your Canadian sovereignty and remove your cities from your provinces. They're highly successful across many cities. That's what this is. And you're going to get to see me, and I hope others come on board and debate with these people live and on video and question them and bring up real legality. I've spent 2 years on the world stage. No fraud. No fraud, Eastern Canadians. This is real. This is a third-class citizen that made it his mission to go out in the academic world entirely in over half the nations on this earth, in their top universities, over and over again, and I've just met an incredible amount of the world's smartest people, and I've done all right holding my own. So that events like this come forward and I get to participate in it. Soon I'm going to be hosting a whole pile for Canadians and doing town halls right across Canada. That's my ultimate goal. It's not about wealth, fame, or anything but absolutely giving all Canadians the best of the best at their disposal to teach them about how the world really is, what the world's really about, all the pitfalls that other nations have gone through, and absolutely what's wrong with your nation. And it goes back to the idea that your politicians have taken a colonial power, embedded in, again, the constitutional monarchy. Didn't matter left or right, whichever party. Mostly Liberal and Conservative, because they're the only ones who've held the reins in Canada since its inception for the power control. Two-party system, it was Liberal, Conservative, and Liberal. That's our party structure. I wrote 2 articles about that years ago. I used it in Alberta independence as I battled out west for the people of Alberta, for their souls. And now that thing has exploded out there. And now we have a chance to do provincial constitutions. Look at independence if we can't break this federal system. But I'm out here, Easterners, to show you how we can all take that federal crown power by utilizing it and breaking it. No more left and right, taking this absolute autocracy, bringing it down here, giving you all the best of the best in the world of constitutionalism, right across the world, best of the best published. There's no politician that's ever going to be ever able to compete with this in any real fashion. We're going to take the First Nations, bring them forward with us. We're going to settle the outstanding abuses of Canada and give back to all the Canadian people, allow you to harness your real wealth. Think of a settled Canada. Think of a settled Canada and all that land made available to all Canadians. And First Nations taking a massive portion beyond the reserves and having that for themselves. A percentage of real GDP. That our corrupt, sick politicians, doesn't matter again, left or right. It won't matter because they are all in bed with absolutely foreign interests. I urge everybody to join me 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yes, those globalist powers that are destroying Canada are going to be there. Yes, they're trying to harness all the large cities here in Canada, and they're winning. But I'm going there to do battle and give honest narratives. Just one, and there's going to be others. There's world experts there too, friends of mine. And we're going to absolutely ask the right questions, and we're going to get the real answers. And just like I did with my UK UN migration, I will expose the terrible, terrible multinationals, and I'll do battle with them. And that's for all of you. You all can do this too. It's time to break down the narratives, Conservative, Liberal, NDP, because I promise you, they're all absolutely corrupt. And what corruptions have not infested an NDP? Should they get that crown of Prime Minister, which, don't kid yourselves, Canadians, that is crown. It's been that way since 1952, legally, in our constitutional monarchy. Our Constitution codified tells everybody legally that they are the monarch, and that's the power of Prime Minister. That's what the Constitution says. It does not say what our national anthem says. Everything inside our national anthem does not exist legally for our Constitution. It's absolutely the opposite. I took a bunch of Ontarians this weekend through it, ran through the Canadian Constitution, both 1867, every amendment since, all the way through 1982 and all of the Supreme Court amendments up until just 2 years ago. Nothing in any of that takes away the crown from your elected government. And every MP, every premier, every legislative assembly in each province and territory, through your MLAs, all take the paycheck, take the fat bankroll and expense accounts, keep their mouths shut, read a little cue card. They don't even read the 400-page document bills that they didn't even write. They're hired legislators, legislative assembly. They don't write the bills, everybody. You elect them to represent you. They read a cue card that gives 9 bullets, just like liars like Justin Trudeau, Aaron O'Toole, Pierre Poilievre, who I watched for a year. I follow the guy. I think he's a great guy. Awesome. Then he releases a 420-page document. He clearly puts his authorship on and signs off, where over 400 bullet points are absolutely deadly against all of you and absolutely in bed with the foreign interests. That's Pierre Poilievre. I don't think there is a government official right now in any party that has any other direction when they want to get into Privy Council except to rape and exploit all of you. Doesn't matter what nation you come from, you immigrate here, you're to be exploited. Some people make it to second class. They get wealth, they get political clout, limited at times, but absolutely the first class multinationals get absolutely everything. You're all primarily third class citizens. Your lives continue to get harder and harder. Your children's lives, you watch it as I'm watching, it's harder for them than it was for me. It was harder for me than it was my father. It was harder for my father than it was the grandfather. And on down the line, everybody. Your politicians are to blame. We don't have constitutions in any provinces or territories. And no politician wants to explore that, because that would take away their gross abuse against all of you, the people. This is my video tonight. It's very important for all the new Easterners who've signed on and got on board. A lot of Westerners get it shared out too. That's what the CCP is going to be doing. Canadian Constitutionalist Party. And for all of you who haven't signed on and registered for that 3-day form, if you're available, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, get on it, because I promise you, you are going to get to witness the evil, and you're going to see the fighters, the champions of truth. And then you're going to see world experts say who's right and who's wrong. That's for all of you. I'll take the system on, and so can all of you. I will give the great example if that's what it takes. But we need participation, not just raw rallies. Vote in the other party to replace the last one, because you're never going to effectively see any change. If you don't believe me, look at Alberta. They've doubled their deficit spending. If it was comparable to Ontario, it would be in the neighborhood of $150 million a year. Can you imagine Doug Ford saying, hey, our budget's minus $150 million this year? Ontario, can you imagine that? That's supposed to be Harper, super strong conservative out there. Took advantage of all the Albertans, and now he's absolutely raping and exploiting them. A man who has a high school education under Harper, who is an 8-year MP with a cabinet position, is worth $13 million. A lot of people post Bilderberg Group. Sure, he went there. He went to Agacon's Island. Do you think these guys are any different than Trudeau Foundation? You think I don't know? You guys wouldn't even believe what I know about NDP when I chase the money, because I'm an economist. I can find out every single organization that sticks their nose out in public or runs public events and they try to champion some global narrative. I can chase all their financials down. As if you explore my timeline, you'll see I bust many. I bust many. Many Canadians who say they're absolutely for all of you. They'll say Canada's strong and free, or they'll use all these other names that sound really good until you find out who is absolutely at the end of their bankroll. And then it falls down like dominoes. And if you think it's all just one group of multinationals, you're sadly mistaken. A lot of the people that a lot of people talk about, that's nothing. There's hundreds and hundreds of more that you haven't even scratched the surface on. And you know what? They're going to continue. There'll always be new ones. Why? Because you have no constitution. Your politicians allow these foreign companies in here to exploit all of you for everything you're worth. That's their mission at the end of the day. That's their boardroom statement. This is not about capitalism. This is about either socialism or capitalism being exploited by colonialism. That is what Canada is. It's colonial power made illegal in this world that absolutely every Canadian politician who gets elected gets to exploit. And if you win the crown, the big crown of Prime Minister, you get to be a full autocratic colonial superpower on this earth today. One of the last ones left to existence. And no one wants to do anything about it. Canadians go, this is terrific. Just vote Liberal next time, or just vote Conservative next time, or just vote NDP, or Bloc, or Maverick, or PPC. Well, where are all the narratives on absolute constitutional dismemberment and redesign of the Canadian system? Why does nobody talk about scrapping all colonialism from the embedded constitution? Why does not anybody ever say, hey, we have a national anthem? I don't sing O Canada. I haven't sang O Canada for 4 years. You'll never get me to sing it because I know the truth. And I have the best experts in the entire world that will tell you all exactly what I'm saying. Best of the best. There's nobody with as many as I got. The multinationals can't even compete with this. Sure, they buy some. Canada, we have a whole bunch bought.